Hi, this is Mr. Payton. Welcome back to another episode of Financial Literacy. So now let's get to the big question. So we know what money is. Now we gotta spend it. When you're a kid, you might get an allowance every now and then. You might even have a little side part-time job. Spending seems like not such a big deal. You make a little money and got a couple hundred, and so you buy yourself some food. You take your friends out to eat. You get clothes, things like this. But it's because you don't have any major expenses. And so as you get older, what you find out is that some of those expenses you try to eliminate or you try to share with people. The first time you move out of your parents' house, it's a rude awakening, man. You find yourself at Walmart or whatever store you shop at. It just seems like every day you need to buy something new because you take that stuff for granted. Whether it's a can opener or container for your socks or hangers, an ironing board. It always seems like you need to buy something. So you start borrowing and things like that because you literally just run out of money. And you just start to decide what things are important. Which brings me to a big question. Do you know what you really need? If you really break it down, if you stop right now for a second and look around your room, if you were going to move out, what stuff do you absolutely have to have? Well, most of us are going to say a bed, but for some people, even that's negotiable. They're like, hey man, I'll just throw a mattress on the floor or just get some pillows. That's only going to be comfortable for so long, though. Eventually, you'll need at least some sort of mattress. Things like lights. I've got a fairly decent house, and for some reason, the builders didn't put any lights in the ceiling, so I have lights inside the room, like little standing lamps. Obviously, you need AC/heat. You need to make sure you feel comfortable in your place, so that's not something you're going to take with. But as you look around the room, you start saying, okay, I need all my clothes, I need all my shoes. Well, depending on how big that room is, you may not have room for it. So the biggest question for people who get out on their own as they start spending money is the difference between needs and wants. And it's not as clear-cut as you think. For example, is a hairdryer a need or a want? For me, it's neither. I ain't got no hair, man. You know what I'm saying? But for some people, it's a big deal. Toothbrush, need or a want? I hope it's a need. You brush your teeth every day. If you don't, I don't want to talk to you. You got that stank breath. All right? Deodorant, need or a want? Okay? Socks, need or a want? Now let's get to some things that may be a little more difficult. Phone, need or want? Video game console, need or want? Television. I would imagine that many of you in this day and time would say, as long as I got my phone, I don't really need a TV. So, need or want? Then we start moving into things like in the kitchen, things in the bathroom. One of the big ones you'll find, especially if you have to move into an apartment right away, is washer and dryer. Need or want? Do you need your own washer and dryer in your apartment, or do you just need access to one fairly close by? Let me tell you, it's no fun having to carry your clothes across the yard or across the apartment complex to go to the washing machine, which may or may not be working and which may or may not be clean, and which may or may not even be available because there's a line of people using it. So those are the kinds of questions you have to start to answer when you start figuring out what your needs and wants are. Once you got that figured out, money management is pretty much, it goes pretty smoothly. Because you buy the things you need, and when you have money left over, you get a couple of the things that you want. The key to needs and wants is that once you get the needs taken care of, the wants sometimes are what drive you to, trying to get better jobs, move up in your job, or starting your own business if that's how you want to go about it. Now, needs can change as well. You get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, significant other, you decide you want to have children, you decide you want a pet, your needs just increase because now you got to feed those things, you got to clothe those things, you got to protect those things. Okay? And I don't mean any disrespect by calling the same things. I'm just talking in generalities. I ain't calling your girl or a guy a thing. You know what I mean? But the point is that the more things you acquire, the more you have to protect them, which leads us to another thing. Insurance, a need or a want. So when we talk about managing our money, when we talk about trying to create a budget, That's the main question. Is it a need or a want? So you'll go down your list and say, okay, all right, so I pay my rent. All right, do you have a car? Need or a want? In this day and age, maybe you can get away with Uber sometimes. Maybe you can get away with Lyft. I don't know. I have a car. I like the freedom of being able to get up and go whenever I want, as opposed to standing on the side of the road waiting for somebody to come pick me up that I don't know. But everybody has different needs. I need to be able to get up and go on my vehicle. So you got your rent, you got your car. Everything else, you really got to work out. You know, do you need an internet connection? Most people are going to say, yeah. You know, but if you got it on your phone, you know, I don't know. So when you really start crunching those numbers and you get out on your own, it gets a little murky, it gets a little gray, because things that you thought you needed, you realize, gosh, I might have to cut this thing out if I want the other thing. Just the act of moving out on your own alone, is that a need or want? Did you need to move out because the situation is just, it's either not safe or it's just not mature enough for you anymore? Or did you want to move out because you're just sick of the people you live with? And you're just old enough, you got to that point, you just need your own space. Even that's a need or a want question. So keep that in mind as we think about money management. It really is not as much about money as it is about knowing who you are and knowing what's important to you. Those needs and wants are going to drive all your spending, all your saving, all your budgeting. And so if you can work that out, you got a shot. So here's the key. If you're someone who's in your teens right now and you're nowhere near moving out, start figuring out what's important to you now. You'll have that part already taken care of. By the time you make some money, you'll already be set. So you don't have to wait until you become an adult to start trying to attack some of the money problems. Most of what we do with money is mental, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But if you can start to get your mind right about money, then you have no idea what it can do for you. This has been another episode of Financial Literacy. My name is Mr. Payton. Thank you so much for your attention and your time. I hope this was of value to you. Have a great day.